let's talk about what have you learned about women? Just full stop right there. Like what? But no, what have you learned about women in developing holsters? Not just the Enigma, because you guys do make a few other um, holster technology products that push the industry in a way that makes sense. I know you guys have done some outside the waistband stuff, unless I'm completely mistaken. What have you
Mhm.
learned about ladies in making holsters that work with the female form? Um, I'll tell you, I've been having conversations with ladies about how to carry while pregnant. That's like a huge hurdle. I don't
Tough
know. I don't
because it's
know
different every week.
every week, and I know a lady who she was showing just a little bit the other day, and now she's showing a lot of bit, and she's like, I can't do this now. I'm like, well, have you thought about using leg holster? I know that's not big in the dude gun spaces. They're just like, no, but I'm like, maybe that might be a thing. I don't know.
Well, that's gonna get tougher and tougher
Right.
because you're gonna have less and less access to it. So
Oh yeah.
the
Jeez.
primary thing that we've learned is that there are far more similarities. If you were to imagine the bell curve of female shapes and the bell curve of male shapes, they're largely overlapping,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're gonna um, there are a lot of guys and ladies who are pretty similar shapes and sizes.
You're gonna offend some people.
Um, well, just anatomically. Um, the other thing is, if you look at it as a set of principles instead of a set of bodies, then nothing changes,
Hmm.
right?
Such as the peaks and valleys
Um,
principles.
right, right. If we're looking at accomplishing concealment through the lens of employing a set of fundamental principles, then everybody's going to have peaks and valleys. Everybody's going to have a sweet spot. Everybody's going to have concealment boundaries. Everybody is going to be, um, to some degree, limited to the maximum size of pistol that they can carry without having to make major lifestyle and wardrobe accommodations. So we found that, and Tessa did a great video about this. It's called the concealment percentage principle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you wouldn't dream of buying shoes if you didn't know how to find your shoe size, right?
It would be a nightmare, especially paying more than $50 for a
It'd be
pair
an
of shoes. Oh my goodness.
exactly. So, like, why do we buy a carry gun without knowing our gun size? But you
Mm-hmm.
can. So she's got a great video on that. It's called the concealment percentage principle, and it shows you where to measure on your body and how to measure a gun or find the measurements for that gun in such a way that it'll tell you what that ratio is, and then the ratio determines whether or not you're playing this on, easy mode or hard mode. And
Mm-hmm.
what tends to happen is that if your gun takes up, say you want to appendix carry, if the size of your gun from the bottom of the magazine to the top of your slide or optic starts to push towards 40% of the front span of your body, that's where it starts to go from easy mode to hard mode.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're above 40%, that's when you start to need to make accommodations around the gun. But generally, 35% and under, easy mode. You could take a gun right now in whatever you're wearing that's 35% and carry it without having to do a whole lot of work or adjustment. And that's going to be true for men and women. Um, the thing that really varies fundamentally between men and women is that, okay, so concealment is accomplished when the uh, gun is carried in the envelope of space between the clothing and the body. That envelope changes obviously based on what you're wearing and how you're built, which is why we talk about peaks and valleys. Some number of women have a considerable concealment advantage based on how their bust causes a shirt to drape, such that their envelope of space between their garment and their body where their gun is consistently large enough to get away with just about anything.
Right. because
That's
I've seen
about
some
it.
dudes who they've just got what they would call like a barrel chest,
Hmm.
and you know they're managing what they eat, so their gut isn't expanding out tremendously, and literally they could carry an AR-15 under their shirt and it's just fine.